Hi, I'm Dr. Ali Hushman. Rowan University is committed to educating the public about the importance of higher education in our state and region. That's why we are proud to support the important programming produced by the CAUCUS Educational Corporation.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Russell Berrie Foundation, Valley National Bank, MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey, Rowan University, educating New Jersey leaders, partnering with New Jersey businesses, transforming New Jersey's future. Summit Medical Group, a physician-owned multi-specialty medical practice serving northern and central New Jersey in 70 locations. The Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, founded by the Jewish community. And by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Promotional support provided by NJ.com, Small News, Big News, True Jersey. And by the New Jersey Business and Industry Association.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at it.
Life without dance is boring.
I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are, there is always something to learn.
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No.
People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
Such a good question. High five.
Hi, this is Steve Adubato. This, in fact, is the after party, if you will, the after event, the 22nd annual Russ Berrie Making a Difference Award. This event is something I've been a part of from day one. It is extraordinary. The people you're about to meet are the honorees we recognize this year, 11 honorees. Past honorees who've come back to talk about the difference that they continue to make, how their organizations have grown, how they've partnered with others to try to have a greater impact. The whole idea, the whole concept behind this is making a difference. That's what our late great friend Russ Berrie taught us a long time ago when these awards were created. Angelica Berrie, the president of the Russ Berrie Foundation, you'll see her in this special as well. That's what she talks about. She talks about having a ripple effect, making a difference. These people are amazing. They've come through so much to give back to others. I'm confident that your view of the world, your view of people will be changed in what you're about to see right now. It is my honor to introduce a young lady who's been helping a lot of people for a long time. She is Eileen Goff of Fort Lee, New Jersey. She heads up an organization called HIP, H-I-P, Eileen, which stands for?
Heightened Independence and Progress.
What is it all about and why did you start it?
I started it because it was an opportunity to assist people with disabilities to receive their full place in civil rights in society. And so we do many, many things. I've recently retired from the agency, but for 37 years we've provided a variety of services for people of all ages.
And much of the focus, frankly, is with people who are dealing with issues involving vision, if I'm not mistaken.
Actually, it encompasses all disabilities. It's children who may need a textbook in Braille, which HIP provides all across the country. But it also can be somebody who needs a ramp for a wheelchair, needs to get up the stairs with a stair glide that we purchase, needs to have a kitchen renovated, needs case management or anything else that anybody needs.
Eileen, this award, the Russ Berrie Award for Making a Difference, what does it mean to you?
Oh, it's a wonderful, wonderful honor. I have actually met Angelica Berrie a couple of times and so admire what she does philanthropically. So what this award means is prestige, and I'll be thrilled to donate the proceeds that I received today to HIP.
Well, just another example of making a difference and why you are, the tagline is New Jersey, honoring New Jersey's heroes. You feel like a hero today?
No.
Everyone says that. Why is that?
It's not a hero. It's just trying to do your best as a good person.
Don Quigley, who in fact is from Manalapan and created an organization called the Society for the Prevention of Teen Suicide. Your story is an extraordinary one. Your son, Sean, share with us if you could.
Sure. 14 and a half years ago, we lost our son, Sean. And previous to that, a couple of months before that, a good friend of mine had also lost his daughter. And at the time, we felt, my goodness, we must be the only two parents in New Jersey that are going through this. As it turns out, of course, that we're not. We decided to do something about it. We formed the organization purely as a result to get awareness out there, some of the signs, and also to educate the teachers, as you mentioned during the presentation. In 2006, we were instrumental in having a law passed in the New Jersey legislature that determined that teachers, all public school teachers, had to take 2 hours of suicide prevention training as part of their ongoing hours. So then, after that, it's been, I think, 29 states now have adopted the same legislation, which is great. But at the time that we felt the best way to go about it was through education, because when you think about it, teachers are with our kids, you know, all of the day, and they'll probably notice things a lot more than you will because you're in the house all the time, whether there's something going on with the grades, whether there's something going on with the way they dress, some behavioral issues, possibly some bullying or whatever it might be. So that was our focus.
Don, what strikes me about you and so many of the other people that received the Making a Difference Award today is the taking of a horrific personal tragedy and deciding at some point that you wanted to make a difference in the lives of others. How did you know that how and why?
Well, that's a good question. You either do nothing, you know, hole yourself up in a corner, or you say, you know something, I'm going to do something about this, because we just would not want any other family to go through what we've gone through. And we said at the start of this that if we could save just one family from going through what we've gone through, then it would all be worthwhile. And we've saved many, thank God. And it's a blessing, really. I'm so glad that I'm able to put my heart and soul into this.
What's it like being around the other honorees that the Russ Berrie Foundation recognizes today after 22 years?
Totally humbling. I mean, it really is to see those, you know, magnificent stories, and for me to be part of that today is just incredibly humbling. It's it really is an honor, and the foundation does fantastic work.
Thank you for everything you're doing.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you.
One of our winners today, who had a big smile on her face when I acknowledged your name, Jodi O'Donnell Ames from Titusville, New Jersey, an organization called Hope Loves Company. Tell us about it.
Yes, Hope Loves Company is the only nonprofit in all of the United States that supports children and families who have loved ones living with ALS through free services and camps and the opportunity to be together.
Like many of the people here, you got into this because of a very personal situation involving your husband. Please talk about it.
In 1995, my late husband, Kevin, was diagnosed with ALS, or Lou Gehrig's disease. He was almost 30 years old, and we had a 2-year-old, and we had no idea how to even move forward with a terminal illness. And I made a promise to myself that someday I would turn that situation into a resource for others to be supported and feel supported when they have children as they're battling ALS.
How do you help them?
We provide free camps to children across the United States. We have one in New Jersey, California, Indiana, Florida, as well as Massachusetts. And it's a free weekend, and the families can come, have fun, enjoy camping, and be together. And for the first time in so many of their lives, feel less alone in their illness. So it's camaraderie, it's supporting one another, and understanding that you can come to camp and have fun and know that you don't have to explain ALS to anyone else because they're all going through the same thing.
How rewarding is it for you?
It is a combination of using my teaching, my grief, my experience, my joy, my gratitude, and being with children just makes me feel alive, and knowing that my loss and my experience with my children not being supported has inspired this. It's not only is it rewarding, but it's my life purpose. It's everything.
Let me ask you something. I am struck by how many people are being honored this year who have experienced personal loss and tragedy. And I'm not going to make this overly philosophical or emotional, but there are people who do spend a lot of time just after a tragedy just saying, why me? And I could totally understand that. but very few actually make the decision to make a difference in the lives of others. Why you?
The way that I looked at it is I had energy. I was a nurse to my husband. He was speechless. He was paralyzed. He had a feeding tube. He was so young. And I could use that negative energy or I could use that positive energy. So I had to think of all the love that I had during his illness and who he was, and to bring that forward, pay it forward in a positive way. Otherwise, I'd probably still be in bed.
Understood. What do you say to all the other honorees today, past and current?
I'd say that I am so proud of everyone. There's so much negativity in the world. There's so much focus on things that don't inspire us. So to be here and celebrated and amongst all of these incredible people just makes me want to go back and work even harder. So thank you.
To watch more One-on-One with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
One of our many past honorees, our great friend, Jack Fanous, GI Goff Fund. It's a pretty great year, wasn't it?
It's incredible. I mean, it's been 5 years since I was honored this year at the Russ Berrie Award. I was part of the selection committee this year, and it's just awe-inspiring, and it just makes me feel really, really undeserving of the award. I mean,
get out of here.
I'm telling you, to see the people that win, to see the people that are selected, to see the ones that aren't selected, it's just unbelievable the things people in this community do. It's inspiring, it's powerful, and I really love being a part of it.
The other thing is that I was saying to Angelica Berry that this event also connects people, that we partner together in large part because of the connection we made here. Tell folks as we put up your website of GI Goff Fund exactly what you guys do. And by the way, Jack's been part of our veterans awareness programming, public awareness efforts on veterans and the needs that they have. Tell folks what you guys do.
So GI Goff Fund is an organization that helps military veterans transition back home, whatever that means, right? Whether it's healthcare, housing, if they're suffering from homelessness, education. But our primary focus, and what we've been able to do since being honored at this award 5 years ago, is really focus on employment, helping veterans transition to work, and educating employers as to the right types of veterans to hire, right? A lot of companies will say, you know, we want to hire veterans, and they go out and they hire a veteran, right? And they check off a box. But the truth is, if you were to say you wanted to hire a college graduate, you don't just go to college and hire any college graduate. You find out who's majored in the right thing and you connect the right dots. What we're able to do now is connect employers with veterans who did the right job in the military, who have that skills. We're opening the first training center and incubator space for veterans in the state of New Jersey, in Newark, New Jersey, your hometown. It'll be the first one in the state. It's pretty remarkable to me that there hasn't been an incubator in the state of New Jersey for veterans, but you know, veterans are entrepreneurial in spirit. And we're giving them a home to do that in the Gateway Center in Newark, New Jersey, thanks to sponsorships from partners like Panasonic, Prudential, PSC&G, the Kessler Foundation, who I know you have a great relationship with. So really a great community coming together. A lot of it started here with this award and with the Russ Berrie Foundation and with Angelica Berrie and all the things that they do. And we're able to grow and hopefully be able to impact the community for decades to come.
Thank you, Jack.
Thanks.
To watch more One-on-One with Steve Adubato, find us online and follow us on social media.
Tricia and Kurt, let me ask you this. You are one of our two of our past honorees. It's so moving. You know, first of all, I'm really impressed that you came back, right? Why, given what you do every day, did you want to come back and meet the other honorees?
It's so inspiring to be here and to hear everyone's story. Sometimes when you're involved in volunteering and advocacy work, it can be overwhelming. But to see everyone doing their special gifts, sharing their gifts with everyone, it just makes you want to keep on giving your own special gift.
But the two of you have been giving in such an extraordinary way, and I remember, excuse me, the first time I interviewed you. And for those who may not know, if you could share with folks how you got involved in making a difference in those circumstances.
Well, our son struggled with mental health disorders for many years, and unfortunately we lost him in 2009, and the stigma that he dealt with the people around him and the administration, the society really just didn't understand his illness and how to really deal with it and work with it. So our goal now is really to educate people, and we're talking to people as young as second grade about how to work and how to develop good mental health habits, how to recognize the signs and symptoms when there is an issue, and then what to do about that so we can all be much happier and healthier, because we do lose students as young as 6 and 7 years old. We want to change all that.
How rewarding. I'm just realizing it now. Our daughter, who as we tape this program is only 7, I was going through the notes for today, and there are people who lost loved ones to suicide. And she saw the word, and without belaboring this, she didn't understand it, and I started talking to her about it, and she said, well, what do you mean? And I said, well, people go through some really tough times, and we don't know that they could have things going on in their brains that the rest of us may not experience. I know I'm going on too long here, but we don't understand, do we?
No, we don't understand. And when we talk to young people in 2nd and 3rd grade...
It's not too soon, is it?
No, it's not at all. The earlier we talk about it, the more they understand, the sooner that they'll be able to get help if they need help when they get a little bit older. 50% of mental health disorders present by age 14. And another startling fact that's happening in the country is that the youth suicide rate of those 12 and under has doubled in the last 10 years. And that's why it's not too soon. But when we talk to young people that age, we don't mention the suicide word, but we talk about stress. They're all coping with so much stress, and we talk about coping mechanisms, we talk about resiliency, and we talk about feelings. And we talk about how the brain is an organ and how organs can get sick. It's like any other organ in the body.
Your heart is sick.
Right, but they can also get well. And that's the message we want to share with our young people. And the young ones, they're open and they listen and they talk about their feelings. And it's not too early. A lot of people are afraid it is, but I'll tell you, it's not. And then we bring therapy dogs.
Sure.
And that brings the kids so much joy. So it's a nice program, and I love the younger they are. I know it sounds, off-putting to some people, but they're open to thinking these things. They hear things. They've lost a lot of their heroes to suicide, and we have to make them understand that there's nothing to be embarrassed. It's a symptom of an illness.
And asking for help is not a weakness.
No, absolutely not a weakness. And when we normalize it, we talk about how mental health disorders is just another part of the body. And right now, even today, there's a high success rate when people do get help. Between 70 and 90% see success. And one of the large pharma companies has trials for a drug now that reverses suicidal ideation within 4 hours. So we have to give people hope. We have to help them to hang on long enough to find their solution. That may be available today, but if it's not even available today, if they can hang in and keep trying, eventually we feel everybody will be able to be helped.
Thank you for what you do for so many every day, both of you.
Well, thank you for allowing us to share the message. We appreciate that.
My name is Melissa Gertz. I am the founder and executive director of the Community Justice Center. We are a legal services nonprofit in New Jersey. We just represented our 650th client. To quote Cornel West, justice is what love looks like in public. What has always called to me most, even as a child growing up in New Jersey, was not just a distaste for injustice, but an imperative to do whatever was in my power at that particular moment to rise above and against it. It drove me to law school and to choose Rutgers School of Law in Newark because of its legacy of inclusion and integrative approach to social justice and civil rights, that all oppressions and isms are one and the same. In the summer of 2004, in the midst of law school, I was interning at a civil rights organization in the Mississippi Delta, when life decided to rudely interrupt. In short, I was T-boned by a truck and nearly died. But I didn't. Instead, after countless surgeries and rehabilitation, I was left with a face full of hardware that felt and looked more like the inside of a piece of electronics, extremely limited vision, and the most important and devastating of it all, traumatic brain injury, or TBI. Meanwhile, veterans have been returning from deployment with TBI. Everyone knows this, in large part because of the light cast by Bob Woodruff after his own injury while embedded. But what everyone doesn't know are the endless battles they face upon return, within themselves and to get the benefits and treatment they rightfully deserve. Without it, we all know the outcome, suicide. But we don't all quite understand why. But I did. And in New Jersey, there weren't any legal services outfits to help. The question is not why did I start the Community Justice Center, the question is how could I not? My rescue dog Kenna and I have become quite the dynamic duo. Returning veterans and others dealing with PTSD and TBI find the comfort of Kenna coupled with my personal experience compelling and are much more open about their own struggles. And the real kicker? She was rescued just a few miles from my car accident, 1,300 miles away. A picture is worth 1,000 words, right? I feel like this says it all. Our clients don't have the luxury of time. Homelessness or worse, suicide is at their doorstep. Of course, medical and financial stability are critical, but my clients will tell you something else. Educate yourself. Thanks to the internet, you have many resources at your fingertips. Do you need a starting point? Start with the spoon theory. Surviving a near-death experience, I cherish what many others take for granted. Given my own limited energy reserve, I am quite choosy about how I spend my time and with whom I spend it. In moments of doubt and frustration, I often refer to this quote from my mentor, former New Jersey State Supreme Court Justice Virginia Long. You will have your chance to make a difference. The issue is whether you will take it. You can be an ordinary thread in the tunic, or you can be that royal touch of purple that gives distinction to the garment. Be that royal touch of purple to the world. I have been swimming upstream for so long that sometimes it feels like, while not small to those on the receiving end, that my contribution in the fight against this particular injustice is insignificant. I'm hopeful this recognition will open more doors, more hearts, and help save even more lives from suicide.
It is my honor to introduce a young lady who is being recognized by the Russ Berrie Awards for Making a Difference. She is Melissa Gertz, and she heads up an organization called Community Justice Center in Trenton, New Jersey. Melissa, describe that organization.
The Community Justice Center is a legal services outfit, the first of its kind in New Jersey, to serve disabled veterans and others that struggle with invisible illnesses, specifically traumatic brain injury and PTSD. I am a survivor of both, and so I understand this struggle very well.
Sure. By the way, I'm going to drop this, if you don't mind, because I also have, Melissa asked me to hold this in case she needed it, and let's put things in perspective. This is an iPad with some information, and you thought maybe you might need this for the interview because you said you heard about my reputation, and you didn't trust me because you're a lawyer and you're skeptical, in a good way. But more to the point, you understand this on a personal human level. You've created this organization to make a difference for others. How and why?
Well, like I said, in 2004, I was T-boned by a truck and nearly died. I didn't, thankfully. I survived, but with a face full of hardware, extremely limited vision, and a traumatic brain injury. Fast forward 5 years, the veterans were coming back in record numbers with TBI and PTSD and not getting the benefits that they deserved or the treatment. We all know the result of this, record number of suicides. I, on the other hand, understood why.
It's interesting, you experienced it. You've had your challenges. You have had a very successful career as an attorney. But my question is, what made you say, I want to help others while I'm struggling with my own situation? That's really what I'm curious about, and frankly, I think a lot of folks watching are.
Cornel West said it best.
The great Professor Cornel West, Dr. West?
Yes. Justice is what love looks like in public. I have always had kind of been called and have an imperative to, in any particular moment, do whatever was in my power to stand up and rise above and against injustice. And this, to me, was just another form of injustice.
So it's so interesting, the awards for making a difference, the Russ Berrie Awards. You are being recognized. You're called a hero. Honoring New Jersey's hero is, in fact, what the brand is and the tagline is. Do you consider yourself a hero?
No, I don't. I would like to put myself out of business, to be honest, because the veterans shouldn't need me. They should be getting what they deserve from the beginning. They shouldn't need us lawyers to come in and fight for them. They need to be believed.
What do you mean, believed?
You know, traumatic brain injury, PTSD, other invisible illnesses, you can't see it. If you look fine, you must be fine. I look fine, but I'm definitely not fine. That's part of the problem, is that there's a lack of education among invisible things, and like I said, if you're missing a limb, you can see it. If you have a brain injury, you can't see it. But it's just as chronic, it's just as lifelong, and it's just as debilitating.
One more question, Melissa. First of all, congratulations on being honored. Because you look so healthy, you look so good, and the camera speaks for itself, could you let folks understand how challenging, obviously you did not need this iPad, I want to make that clear. That was a crutch for you. But how challenging is it for you so that those of us who don't see it and experience it personally can have a sense of how challenging, just frankly, just doing this interview is?
It is extremely challenging. For example, right now, I'm in a ton of lighting that I shouldn't be in because it could induce seizures. I'm heavily
These television lights?
fluorescent lighting. Most people with traumatic brain injury have severe light sensitivity. So while I'm legally blind, I have superhero night vision. I can see everything in the pitch black, but when you put fluorescent lighting or spotlights, I can't see anything.
I want us to say thank you. You have taken the challenges that you face every day and decided to make a difference in the lives of others, particularly veterans dealing with post-traumatic stress syndrome, with traumatic brain injuries, which you've experienced yourself. And I just wish there were more people like you in the world. Thank you, Melissa.
Thank you, and I hope this helps open more doors and more hearts and save some more lives.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the CAUCUS Educational Corporation, celebrating over 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Russell Berrie Foundation, Valley National Bank, MD Advantage Insurance Company of New Jersey, Rowan University, Summit Medical Group, the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, and by the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
Choosing a new family doctor can be confusing. Check with your health insurer to see which physicians near you participate with your plan. Find out which hospitals the doctor uses and who covers when the doctor is away. And remember to schedule an appointment with your new doctor in advance to fill out any paperwork without the added stress of being sick.